Are you ready to learn about what is fragrance? I am so excited to share this with you, and I have such a good story to tell you about why I wanted to share this with you today. Before we get started, though, I'm here helping women who are struggling with pain and inflammation, perhaps struggling to let go of trauma and it's looking like chronic illnesses and you're just not feeling good and the doctors are telling you you're feeling fine or you look like you're fine, everything looks good, but you know you're not fine. So I am here to help you with that. And one of the most important things to do is to offload, pull out, remove the toxins that are in your life, decreasing the stress load your body has to manage. And to help you with that, one of the important things is managing your mental wellness, your mental health, and decreasing your stress load. So I have created an ebook to help you to think about some of my top 10 ideas I have for you of what you can do to help improve your mental wellness, your mental health right now, and decrease the stress load. The link is down in the description. If you don't have it yet, make sure to go grab that. And it's just for you. I made it just for you. So I am Laurel Kelsey. I'm a functional nutritionist. I am a mental wellness and a lifestyle medicine coach. And my focus is women, specifically to help those who are trying to feel better and don't know why. They're just not feeling good, always in pain, feeling inflamed. My clients often have lots of traumatic things that have happened in their life. And we just look at your whole story to help you get from not feeling good to loving life again and having energy, feeling less inflamed. Today, what we're talking about is maybe perhaps one of the main things that could be contributing to your stress load in your body, the toxic load that the body is trying to manage. Again, when we look at healing the body, the first thing that we need to look at is what can we remove out of our life that detoxes, cleans up, relieves the amount of work that the body has to do. And this can be emotional, it can be mental, it can be physical, it could even be lack of spiritualness in your life, right? So that we're looking at lots of things that we could potentially do. Today we are talking about fragrance. So here is where the fragrance that I realized I hadn't shared about this idea and it popped into my head. So I have been, over the last couple of months, I had a headache coming on that has just been growing and growing. And I'm just like, what is going on? I don't normally have a headache. This is very out of character for my particular chronic illness symptoms or issues that I deal with that I manage very well now. And it's just getting to the point like, this is ridiculous. This is out of, I'm not managing very well anymore. And when I was in the shower one day, I had this idea, just check your products. And I thought, no, that can't be the case because I'm really careful about the products that I allow in my house and what on my body and that I use. But I decided, so when I have thoughts like that, I often feel like maybe that's a prompting, a spiritual prompting. So I wanted to check in on it. So I went and started looking through my lotions and my shampoos and my conditioners. And wouldn't you know, a product that I thought was very clean actually had fragrance in it. And that is what we're talking about today. I have stopped using those products, and my headache is clearing up more and more every single day. So I know that this was at least one part of what was going on with my headache. Often there are many root causes, and our job is to try to find as many of those root causes that we can clean out and change. So what is fragrance? You probably have products, maybe personal care products or candles, something that you really like how it smells. Now, in a perfect world, the smells would only come from nature, truly from nature. So imagine maybe you know what rosemary smells like or lavender smells like. In a perfect world, that would only be coming directly from nature. Unfortunately, that is not the case most of the time. This word fragrance that you find, maybe it says lavender scented, for example, but when you go and look on the ingredients list, it says fragrance. Fragrance could be any of about 3,500 different lab made chemicals, synthetic chemicals that are used to make a product smell better so the consumer enjoys it more. But these manufacturers are not so concerned about what it does to you personally, right? Often they're looking at their bottom line. Now, we do have some really great companies now that are, thankfully, that are really taking a stand that we need to make better products for the consumers who are interested in having healthier products. And this should be on your list of things that you want to improve if you're not already working on that. If you're someone who's struggling with chronic illness of any sort, that pain, that inflammation, headaches, weight loss resistance, thyroid problems, that all potentially could come back to the toxic load that your body is trying to deal with. The cellular inflammation around each cell, what is going on that is causing so many problems. So, synthetic fragrances are a really big problem. And the bigger problem we have is fragrances are managed by an international organization called the International Fragrance Agency. However, this agency, they are out of Switzerland. Hold on, let me check. Switzerland. Where are they out of again? Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland. They are out of Switzerland, and so they come up with a code of like a code of conduct, codes of practice that are recommended for manufacturers to follow when including fragrances. However, it's not monitored. So even though there are codes out there, that there's no one that is monitoring if the codes of practice are being followed. And in the United States, which is where I am, the Food and Drug Administration does regulate if there's fragrance or not. Again, fragrance is any of 3,500 different chemicals, like synthetic chemicals. It could be a mix of any. It could be 2, it could be 100. We don't know. Because all that's required from the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, is that on the ingredients label it says fragrance. Now that's going to change. So in 2022, let's see if I want to say this the right way. There was a new federal law that was passed that some of these ingredients needed to be disclosed to the consumer, but that does not have to actually be, these requirements don't go into effect until at least 2025 or until 2025. So you have to be really careful as a consumer and start to the easiest way is to look on an ingredients label and look for fragrance or perfume or aroma. Those are all words that could indicate to you that there is some type of synthetic fragrance chemical that is there to help you enjoy your product more, but it's not about helping anything else. The unfortunate news is that these chemicals are often very toxic to the body, can cause a lot of problems, again, like weight loss resistance, like thyroid problems. Some cancers have been studied with looking at fragrances. Pretty much you name any of the chronic illnesses that are out there, it's highly likely that the fragrances are upping your threat load in your body and making it harder for your body to recover every day and clean out sufficient that the cell can hear the hormones signaling and to do different things. So that is really important. I'm looking down at my notes here to see what, if there's anything I missed about the 3,500 fragrance chemicals. Okay, yeah, companies don't have to disclose them. We do know that it's going, most likely it's going to say fragrance or the perfume or parfum aroma on the bottle somewhere. The really sad thing that I found out is, so I was reading an article from the Environmental Working Group. So they are an organization that has decided that it is unacceptable that we as consumers are not told what is in our products and the health risks that come along with them. So they are a organization now that has a huge database. They're just pulling all the products from everywhere that they can. Companies can agree to be verified from them, which means that they are showing full transparency on what's inside, and you can have what is called a EWG verified product, or you can get a toxic rating list number from them. So I was reading an article from them, and one thing that I didn't know, which, so I'm this old today, when I realized something really frustrating, that fragrance chemicals, I'm reading this directly, and I will link this article so that you can go read it yourself. Fragrance chemicals, so-called masking agents, may even be added to consumer products claiming to be unscented if they're needed to mask an otherwise unpleasant odor in a product to be unscented. So even just an unscented label product does not necessarily mean that it's fully free of these synthetic chemicals. So we really have to be careful as consumers, especially when we're thinking about trying to transform our health, right? Now, let me give you a couple of examples so you can understand. So you've probably heard of the word phthalates before. That is one synthetic chemical that is often used in products that have fragrance in them. And this is because, so it's odorless, it is colorless, it's an oily liquid that helps to lubricate other ingredients to kind of bring them together and make a product more durable. And then with fragrance, it helps to carry the fragrance through the product, and then unfortunately onto us, all of those chemicals. Okay, so that's one that you may have heard of. There's another big one. Styrene is a big one, and this is another colorless, flammable, highly volatile synthetic chemical, a liquid chemical, and it has a sweet smell. So hopefully this is starting to give you an idea of all of these different chemicals are used for purposes, but they're not with the purpose of helping us to feel better, to be less inflamed. It's mainly for the purpose of either making a product to be able to stay longer on a shelf, to make the smell carry longer for you so you enjoy it, but most likely you're not enjoying the consequences of having that fragrance in your life. It, can cause dermatitis, itchy skin. There's so many health consequences that could potentially come from using products that have fragrance in it. And if you think about through like all the different places that you use things in a day, you could potentially using maybe even 12 products in a day that might have, like I would say 12 easily, that might have fragrance in it right now. So you're always inundating yourself with synthetic chemicals that the body has to figure out, how do I clean this out? And making the load on the liver harder. The gut has to deal with a lot of things. It could trigger leaky gut where you have things getting into your bloodstream that shouldn't be getting into your bloodstream. So this is really important for you to be thinking about, again, as we consider how do we move forward and inflaming ourselves. We want to improve the inflammation load, decrease it as much as possible. So the things that I want you to come away with, the takeaway is, you need to learn to read labels. You need to read the ingredients list. Oh, back to the 12 in a day. So what I was saying was, you could be having it in your shampoo, in your conditioner, in your soap, in your lotion, definitely in makeups. It could potentially, some of these synthetic chemicals could be there. In your kitchen soap, in your kitchen dishwasher detergent. It could be in your laundry soap. It could be in the dryer sheets. Use wool balls instead. Don't use dryer sheets. Huge chemical toxic load right there. And so that's 9. I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. So we're surrounded by chemicals all of the time, and we have the choice to choose. Do we allow these into our home and into our lives or not? And could this be one place where I could decrease the toxic load on my body? Because there's always going to be toxins that we have to deal with, right? We live in a world where there is a lot of toxic load everywhere with cars and with computers and electronics. There's, even the electromagnetic field toxicities. There's toxicities around. So we want to manage as much as we can. And this is fragrances is one place that we definitely have 100% control over. So if you can start to pull all of your products off that you are using for cleaning yourself, cleaning your house, anything that is going on your body that you're smelling. Oh, another big one I thought of, if you use plugins in your house, that's a super place where you're going to find perfumes. So who knows how many synthetic chemicals you are just lifting into the air and not only breathing in, but it's going to get on your skin, but you're also breathing it in, right? So that is plugins. Those are really toxic load places that you could be looking at in your home as well. So I want you to encourage you to be pulling out your products that you're using and look through the ingredients list. Looking for perfume, for parfum, for fragrance, for aroma. And if you find that on the ingredients list, then you can guarantee yourself that you have some mix, whether it's 1 or 100 or 500 or 1,000. They don't have to disclose this. Some mix of synthetic toxic chemicals in your products that you are allowing on your body, okay, and in your space, in your air that you're breathing. So you want to just remove those out. If it is a point of financial, I'm not saying in a perfect world you would go through and just pull them all out and dump them, right? And replace them. But if that financially doesn't make sense for you, then do your best to, as you get rid of them, to replace them with healthier options. Go and use the EWG database to type in products so that you can look up and make sure that you're choosing ones that are much higher, much lower toxic load, the EWG verified, maybe a 1. I always like to go as high as possible so that you're purposely putting less toxins into your house and into your body by doing that. So remember, fragrance, 3,500 synthetic different chemicals that could be included in a mix of some sort if it's in your product. It's around in many different places, many different products. Unscented doesn't necessarily mean safe. So you always want to check to see if there's any type of masking agents that are in unscented products. And again, you can learn more about that from the EWG, or you can reach out. We can work together. And let's see, I'm just looking if there's anything else. Just really be aware of what you are allowing into your space, and just know that one of the beginning steps is removing the toxic load out of your life. So today we're talking about fragrance as removing it. We're also looking at allowing emotions to move through us and out, looking at allowing toxic thoughts to leave and be replaced by healthier thoughts. We want to look at toxic food removal, right? Looking at, and this is a whole nother different newsletter, YouTube, potentially, that we could, training that we could look at. But we want to remove the toxic things out of our lives. There's lots of different toxic chemicals in our foods. Food manufacturers are not necessarily out there to help us be healthier. So it's really important to learn to read your labels and to just be willing to take it one step at a time, not get frustrated. If this is brand new information to you, then celebrate that you know something new and start working on replacing your products, upgrading your home so it's a healthier, cleaner environment for you. And in the process, if you feel like this is something that you need to do, but you're wondering if there's other root cause issues that potentially you could be working on, then you might find it really helpful to work with some type of integrated practitioner. I would be happy to be that person and be honored to be that person if you need that, where we can look and deep dive into your health history, into your life timeline, into all of your different symptoms, and look at how they are matching up through the different systems of your body. What are the systems that are struggling? What are the symptoms that we're seeing? And so that we can bring it back down to how do we decrease the inflammation in your life? How do we improve your gut health so that you can get better uptake of your nutrients? And how do we turn off the genes that are causing chronic problems and flip on the genes that are going to help you feel healthy? That's called epigenetics. These are all the things that I would work with my client. So if that's you and you're ready to step it forward and really get serious about feeling better, then please make sure that you reach out to me, schedule an appointment so that we can have a free health consult and just talk about what's going on. And I'll share the different programs that I have available for women out there who are just ready to dump the pain and inflammation, heal down to the cellular level, and implement new lifestyle changes and better nutrition and exercise, better mindset, so that you can finally start to enjoy life. I promise you that that tomorrow can be better than today. There is hope. I have seen it happen in my own life, and I know it can happen for you. I'm here for you, and I'm excited to hear from you. So I will see you next week.